Welcome to our vlog. Today we're going to talk about whatever hits me, whatever strikes my fancy. Don't have much of a script today, but we'll talk about a few comments, updates, other things that have been going on, and tie them all back to anxiety because that's always part of it. Stay tuned. Hello there. My name is Dee, and this is Easing Anxiety. If you like what we do, please subscribe and click on the notifications button so you can be alerted when new videos are available. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to go pretty unscripted. I'm just going to ramble on a bit, which I'm good at. If you watched any of these, you know, but I also want to share some comments from you and talk about some of the things you're dealing with. Before they do that, though, I do want to mention what's going on around here. The fires have been, unfortunately, getting worse. We live in the Front Range of Colorado, north of Denver, and we've had smoke around us and been breathing it for a few months now. But it's nothing compared to what people in the mountains are facing who are surrounded by the fires. My wife and I lived in Estes Park, Colorado for 7 years. And last night they got a mandatory evacuation. And one of our friends from Estes Park is staying with us now. That was part of the evacuation. Other friends are staying with family and friends in various hotels in the region. But it's really hard to see the town that you lived in for 7 years be threatened by fire, and it's not the only one. My wife and I used to have a small cabin in Grand Lake, which is the other side of Rocky Mountain National Park. And it was evacuated earlier, and as I understand, parts of it may have already burned. There's 2 fires hitting that region right now, one from the north, which is the Cameron Peak Fire, which is now the largest in state history. And this new one, which came up from the south and the southwest, and more from the west and the south, is the East Troublesome Fire, and it went from 24,000 acres to 125,000 acres overnight, almost, and is now over 170,000 acres. It's pretty crazy. And it is now the second largest forest fire in state history. In fact, 3 of the 4 largest fires in state history happened in 2020, this year. It's been pretty rough. So I just wanted to mention that up front, that's part of why it's been a little delayed, trying to get things done. We're dealing with some friends around here in need. And just a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things we've been monitoring. There's also been a recent fire much closer to us in the foothills north of Boulder, the Cowwood Fire, that eliminated 20 or 25 homes or so. And they're just popping up. And it's frightening. We're probably pretty safe out here. I'm not too worried about us because we're further out in the prairie, type of land. But I just want to let those of you who are suffering from the fires, whether it be here in Colorado or Washington or California or Oregon or wherever you are, Arizona, New Mexico, pretty much the entire western United States, that I feel for you. Anxiety was high enough with COVID, but when you add the whole evacuations and worry about your home and your own safety and your animals and your pets and your neighbors, it just keeps piling on, doesn't it? It just keeps piling on. And I'm going to share a couple quotes here, not quotes, but comments here from a few of you who've also been dealing with the hurricanes in the southeast. Paul Yancey had written in and said, "Hello, D. I'm getting a chance now to watch it," talking about the latest video. He said, "The storm is now over and a sunny day out here in Beaumont. Some damage, but happy to be here. Take care and be safe." Paul had lost power, but I think he's gotten it back now and he's doing some cleanup. Another comment came in from Pam, and she mentioned, "Hurricane will be here. We are around 2 a.m. worried, but no, God has us in his hands." And she wrote back again later. I've been writing back to her and her husband a few times now, and really good friends. We've been corresponding with them for a long time through the channel. And it's just Paul for Pam and Lee and for all the other people who are dealing with other environmental disasters in different areas and have lost power and are rebuilding. Hearts go out to you too, because it's like, haven't we had enough? Haven't we already had enough to deal with this year? Why do they have to keep piling more on? But it's like they're testing us, whether it's God and that you have faith in God, or it's the universe or Mother Nature, however you want to look at it. It feels like someone's testing us to see how much we can take. And I know the world has been far worse than other times in human history, but in recent times, this is a pretty difficult year. But we're getting through it, and we're going to continue to get through it. Anyway, I just wanted to mention about the fires, and I wanted to put out here, I don't know if any firefighters anywhere watch these videos or have listened to our podcast, but if they have, or there's a family of any, or anybody out there who's related to a firefighter, please pass on to them my endless gratitude. It's a thankless job. I can't imagine doing what they've been doing for so long, especially this year. But I am so ever grateful that they are there, and they are doing everything they can to help protect our homes and the beautiful countryside here in Colorado and in other states. Thank you. So I'll move on, but I just wanted to open with that. A couple quick updates. Been making more updates to the website. Been doing a lot of work there. That's part of why I've been busy too, is still kind of getting some things. Even though we launched it, there's other things I need to add. One of them has been stories. I'm really excited about this. I'm adding the stories section. That's a new enhancement to the website. It's on the homepage as you scroll down, but it's grayed out right now, the box for it, but that'll be online here in the next couple weeks. I've been taking the stories that I've shared on the podcast and other Benzos stories and a few anxiety stories that people, but most of them are Benzos stories that people have shared with me. Sorry, I'm a little off today. A lot on my mind, as you can tell, with everything going on that I've been talking about and other stuff. So I just trying to do the best I can. Oh, okay. Oh, and also a new series that I'm getting ready to start. It's one we've been talking about, which is, I was going to launch this video as being the first of this series, but it's taken me a little longer putting it together, so I decided to throw a vlog out, and then it'll follow in a few days, and that is that new series we talked about, which is 101 Anxiety Tips. Hello there, this is Dee, and welcome to our series 101 Anxiety Tips, presented by Easing Anxiety. I'm going to try to do 101 videos. I don't know, I might even double up, so it might be a little less than 101, but it'll be 101 anxiety tips in a variety of videos, all done kind of in a Q&A instructive format, but all done in a short video format, probably 5 to 15 minutes, 15 minutes max. Most will be around 5 to 10 minutes. Short videos, each one on a separate tip. And I'm excited about it. I just got finished putting the introduction together for it. And we'll start putting these out one at a time. So I think that's going to be kind of cool. Let's share a few more comments. That's really all I had. So I'm going to talk about some comments. I want to kind of focus on that today. We don't do this enough, I think. And I like sharing the comments from you. And I feel like this is the dialogue and this is what the vlog is kind of for. So this one's from Tracey. Tracey said about our new website video, "Hello, Dee. Wow, the website is just like your book, Benzo-free, easy to follow with lots of information. So much detail. Your hard work shows. Thank you." Thank you so much, Tracey. That's great. She said some very nice things in here. And I'm really appreciating. And she even mentioned here, says, "Now I'm rambling." And if I wasn't typing, hand gestures galore, LOL. It's so funny that she said that. I love that comment because, I say that all the time. And I ramble, and it's nice to see somebody else ramble when they're typing. But thank you, Tracey, for the great feedback on the website. I do appreciate it. Michele also wrote back on the website, but she wrote about something else. She wrote on that same video, it said, "Hi, Dee, just got back from the hospital, went by ambulance earlier. I was petrified, but luckily all my tests were normal. They gave me fluids and EKG and took blood. The doctor said it's most likely side effects from my taper. The doctor knew a lot about Klonopin and actually took the time to talk to me, which was really nice and comforting. She said as I was leaving, "You've got this." And I started to cry. My discharge summary stated anxiety as the reason for the visit. After a Lyft ride home, I'm listening to your channel and congrats on your website. I want to let you know I appreciate you and everything you are doing. Once again, thank you. I hope you have a peaceful night. Sending hugs, Michele. Thank you, Michele. Oh, heartwarming. Thank you. These choke me up sometimes as I read them, as you know. The trip to the emergency room, God, who's been through benzo withdrawal, a severe benzo withdrawal, and hasn't been there? I went to the emergency room, I think 3 times during my taper. I know so many others who have been through that, and it's scary as hell. As if anxiety attacks, as if panic attacks weren't hard enough without benzo withdrawal, they'd become extreme during this time. And most of the time, thankfully, our tests wind up being negative. There's nothing wrong with us outside of our taper and our withdrawal. But I wanted to share that one with you because it's something so many of us have gone through, those of us who go through benzodependence and withdrawal and have to deal with, and those who have panic attacks and haven't even dealt with the medication side of things. And it's embarrassing. And we feel weak, and we feel we can't handle things, and we feel less than the average person. We feel, I don't know what the term for it is, but it's hard. But it's not anything wrong with us. It's not anything less than. It's not anything that makes us weak. Again, this is just something we have. It's a condition we have. Like everybody's got a condition of some sort. Some overeat, some underexercise, some overexercise, some overwork, some are overdriven by success, or overaggressive, or underaggressive, or, I mean, we all have traits. For those of us who suffer with anxiety, that anxiety is one of our traits. For those of us dealing with benzo withdrawal, those traits led us to this, and now we have to deal with that on top of it. But we get through these things, and we push forward, and we move on. And we need to remind ourselves that we're not less than, we're not weak, we're not anything like that. We just happen to have anxiety. We have an issue we have to deal with. If anything, it makes us strong because we've had to deal with this extra burden. So, Michele, thank you so much. I'm so glad your tests were negative. I'm so sorry you're still dealing with the benzo withdrawal. Michele and I have written back several times, and it's really good to hear from her, so thank you. On the, as many of you know, I've been releasing the benzo-free podcasts on video lately. I'm taking the archived podcasts, starting with number 1, and putting a video slate in front of them because they're audio content only, and releasing them on YouTube. I recently released episode 7, which was the Ashton Manual, What Is It and Why Should I Read It? And Donna, Donna's been great. Donna, some of you may have seen her on the comments lately. She's been piping in, responding to people, giving really good, positive advice. Not advice, we don't give advice. Not advice, but sharing her thoughts, sharing her opinions with people. And I'm glad she's out there. She's got some good insights. And I've spoken with her a couple times, and she's just a great person. So thank you, Donna, for all of your help you've done. Donna wrote, "Thank you, Dee. This episode was incredibly helpful to me a year ago when I was tapering according to the lovely Dr. Ashton's guidelines. What a gift she was and is to so many. Please continue the wonderful work. We are all incredibly grateful. Keep smiling and stay well, dear friend." Thank you, Donna. On the new FDA warning, got some really good responses on this one on the video that I did out for the new FDA warning. Suzanne, etc., wrote in, "These need to be a higher scheduled drug. I'm withdrawing, and it is very dangerous." Absolutely. I can't disagree with any of that, Suzanne. It is very dangerous. People don't make it. Some people don't. I wish I could give you better news than that, but I think we all know that some people don't make it through this process, but the vast majority do. Most of us do make it, and most of us get the support and the education we need to handle it and to make it manageable, which it really can be. It really can be. Should they be a higher scheduled drug? I think so. The FDA, of course, I mentioned in the video, is the ones responsible for the boxed warning that came out a week ago. But the DEA is responsible for the schedule classifications. And for those who don't remember off the top of my head, benzodiazepines are a class 4 on the schedule, which is pretty low down. There's only 5 classes. Class 1 is the most highly regulated, and actually class 1 has to have absolutely no medical use. So it's the drugs that are really severe. And then you move your way down in class 4. And the description for class 4, and I can't remember it off the top of my head right now, but is somewhat benign and doesn't nearly define the risks that I feel these drugs should instill. And even when we had Dr. Valak on the show with his interview, he also mentioned that, yeah, he could see why it should be a class 3 or 2 and moved up. So hopefully that will come, especially with the boxed warning. We'll start to see some other, what's the term? Downstream effects as this starts to get more attention. Viper 7777, or I like to say Viper Quad 7, because that kind of makes sense for that one, wrote in and said, "It's a beginning for sure, but still a lot of work to be done." I agree. Totally agree. And this one actually I wanted to also respond to is Metal Madness 66, not Mental Madness, although that one might be appropriate for what we're going through, but Metal Madness 66 wrote in and said, "A black box warning after 60 years just isn't enough. This S blank blank T is poison and has basically ruined my life and the lives of probably hundreds of thousands of people over that span of time. There should be a massive class action lawsuit filed against the manufacturers of the garbage and the doctors that prescribe them like they are candy. That will never happen, though. There is no real safe use for these. They should only be used in critical and highly supervised cases. End of story." I wanted to talk about this one briefly because it's a great comment. And my first thing I want to say to those of you who have this type of opinion and anger, you're totally justified. I have nothing I can say to argue with you. You are right. So much should have been done in the 60 years, 50, 60 years since these were created. It's taken us so long. When you look back at some of the lawsuits in the 80s, and I mentioned this in my reply back to Metal Madness, that in the 80s, the UK had a lawsuit involving 14,000 patients and 1,800 law firms, but unfortunately, it didn't wind up with a verdict, so nothing really happened. Some lawsuits, and I wrote this back to Metal Madness, is that some of these lawsuits have resulted in some monetary benefits to the people who have filed them. The biggest one was actually Luke Montague, the Viscount of Hutchingbrook, received a £1.35 million settlement for suffering from clonazepam, which is Klonopin. But unfortunately, the stories of these successes are few and far between and are hard to find. Do I think the boxed warning will create more of them? Yeah, I think so. Do I think litigation's the way to go? It's not for me to decide. I think that's for each person to decide. For me, I decided to go a different route, and that is to try to work with the doctors and with medical organizations and try to help educate them on what it's really like, what we go through. And I'm doing that now. I'm working with a consortium here in Colorado. We're doing some great work. It's really exciting. I think we have huge potential for some serious changes with the new boxed warning. That's also, we are making progress. I know it seems small right now, but we are. But as for litigation, some people are out of work and have absolutely no income and have lost their jobs, lost their family, lost their spouse, lost so many things that, yeah, of course you have the right to file a lawsuit. And I'm not about to say yes. I'm not about to say no. That's not my place. That's for you to decide. Can it change things? It might. I don't know. But I just want to say that I think there will be more coming down the pike. And And I'm sure they will be out there for people to join in with if they want to. I'm sure class action lawsuits are probably in the works again. We'll see what happens. I don't know. But maybe it will make things change. Let's go on. I think that was it for my comments. I don't know what else I'm talking about here today, but I wanted to run through a few of those. I have plenty more that I've read and ones that have been wonderful. But it's been really good talking with each of you. I'm going to have a new video out here shortly, and that'll be the first one on the 101 anxiety tips. I look forward to that. I'm excited about it. Those will be a little more polished. Those won't be vlogs. Those will be more polished videos on that side. We'll still do the vlogs in between. But I think before I close, I just kind of want to mention that I appreciate your patience. Figuring out what we're doing here. I'm still testing the waters, as you can tell, with all different kinds of stuff, but I'm learning so much, and we're learning so much, and I appreciate your patience, and I appreciate your feedback. Positive, critical, whatever it is, I really need it. Thank you so much. Don't forget, you can go to our new website now, easinganxiety.com/feedback, and tell me anything you want, any thoughts. Still accept donations. Thank you so much for those who have been donating. It really helps. I need those to kind of keep going. So again, you can go to easinganxiety.com/donate and help out. What else do I want to talk about? I don't know. I know we got an election coming up here in the States. For those of you who are international, you probably have heard of it. It's interesting. I don't talk politics here, and I won't. That is not where I'm going to go. It's just not something I do. But I will talk about having, I think the word I'm looking for is grace. Having understanding, having patience, a little less judgment of others, a little more kindness. We just have opinions. Everybody has different opinions of what's right, what's wrong, what our values are, what our beliefs are. And ours may not agree with somebody else's, and that's okay. Try to find the things you like in other people. And try not to find the things that you don't like become the center of your focus. We are all just trying to figure this damn thing out called life. I feel still inside of me like this child so often. I'm this little kid that just wants to get along with everybody and wants to make friends and wants to go out and explore the world and do things and have fun and learn and love but we make it so hard. We make it so hard. I don't know if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. I don't know. I don't even know if I'll leave that part in. When I go back to edit, I sometimes cut things out and I do that. But I'm going to wrap this up because it's a vlog and vlogs are raw and this is what I do. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're safe. Wherever you are in the world, I hope the crises around you, COVID, fires, hurricanes, politics, whatever it is giving you enough room for some peace. It's not encompassing your whole life, but you have a space in your life where you can find some peace, some quiet, some relaxation, a place to regroup, re-energize. And I think that's it. Take care of yourself. Be at peace. And I'll see you next time.